Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. To enhance cultural and civilizational exchange between the Sultanate and Lithuania, the activities of the Omani Media Days continue in Vilnius. The fourth annual chemistry exhibition seeks to spread the culture of green chemistry in the society. And Yemeni government forces take full control of the Red Sea port of Mocha. Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Mohammed Abdullah Mohammed Farmago of the Federal Republic of Somalia on the occasion of him being elected as the President for the Republic. Activities of the Omani Media Days continued in the city of Vilnius, capital of Lithuania. The event came to stress on the good bilateral relations between the Sultanate and Lithuania. It also aimed to open horizons of coexistence and cooperation among the nations. It included a number of exhibitions that shed light on various aspects of the Omani history, culture and traditions. It also witnessed some documentaries on the touristic potentials of the Sultanate and its role in the development of cultural exchange. The participants further got acquainted with the achievements of the Sultanate in various fields. The College of Sciences in the Sultan Qaboos University organized the fourth annual chemistry exhibition in Muscat, with the aim to shed light on the dangers of chemical waste on the environment, as well as the methods to dispose of such waste or recycle them. The exhibition included a number of sections where the university students presented their experiments. The event also stressed on the importance of green chemical laboratories with their various elements in the daily life. The participants expressed that such events are considered significant to develop and improve the scientific skills of the students. The Public Authority for Electricity and Water completed the implementation of a number of major water network projects, including connecting a new 1,600mm water transfer pipeline with the water desalination plant which feeds the Governorate of Muscat. The implemented works included installation of an electronic water meter to the new transfer line, in addition to fitting a stopcock control mechanism directly to the water line connecting to the Qorum storage tank, which will help to handle the process without any human intervention. Also, it included checking the performance of 15 electronic stopcock mechanisms, which were installed in the new transfer line by monitoring its performance by the National Control and Monitoring Centre, ESCADA. The authority took all precautionary measures to ensure that no disruption of water supply to the subscribers should occur while carrying out these works. Oman oil price April 2017 delivery reached $54 and 59 cents per barrel. Dubai Mercantile Exchange today said that the price of Oman oil rose 1 cent from the price of yesterday, which reached $54 and 58 cents per barrel. The average price of Oman oil February 2017 delivery has stabilized at $52.72, thus $8.18 per barrel higher compared to January 2017 delivery. Oman's relationships with the countries of the Horn of Africa was revealed by the archaeologists during a recent conference held in the Comoros, organized by the Sultanate's National Records and Archive Authority. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai.
Through history, the Sultanate of Oman has played an active and constructive role in constructing cultural, economic, and in particular, maritime and strategic aspects. Recent archaeological fieldwork has identified complex long-distance maritime trade between East Africa and Oman, commencing around 700 CE and extending as far as the Comoros. A number of key excavations, quantities of Gulf ceramics, glass and glass beads have enabled archaeologists to locate the scale and direction of these trade voyages that would have covered 1,000 kilometers. I met with Dr. Martin Harton, a professor of archaeology at the University of Bristol, UK. He has worked in the East Africa coast since 1980, excavating various areas, including Comoros. Dr. Horton, welcome.
We have found a remarkable and amazing story about Omani sailors and merchants sailing all around the Indian Ocean in the very early years of Islam in these incredible sewn boats which were put together without the use of nails but only of coconut fibre and wadding and probably matting sails. And these vessels, which would have been no more than 20 metres long, more likely 15 metres in length, were able to sail across the seven seas, all the way to China, to Indonesia, but remarkably also here to East Africa. It's like the stories of Sinbad the Sailor in true. That's why we came here 2 years ago to try investigate in more detail whether there was a presence here in the 8th century of the communal Christian era, that's 100 years of Hijra, whether people actually came here, and particularly whether we have evidence for the Omanis coming to these beaches.
Right, yeah. And what did you find at that particular time?
So we have found many sites from this time which are really interesting. The sites include not only evidence of African people living here, in terms of their pottery, but also for this trade that is happening. So we find many artifacts, pottery and glass and many other things. We find on beaches like this that belong to the 8th and 9th centuries. And I'll show you three types which are really interesting. These which are big storage jars, and you can see the bitumen on the inside. So this comes from natural bitumen that's found all around the Gulf. And it's evidence that these vessels are coming from somewhere in the Gulf. These very pretty glazed wares, you see, made of turquoise, are probably carrying dates. Date syrup. The Africans thought that date syrup was very special because they had no sugar. So these are a very common form of glazed ware that we find here in East Africa. To trade for ivory and spices and gold, the Omanis brought these.
These findings reveal some of the new evidence for long-distance voyages and the presence of Omanis in Comoros.
Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubai, Sultanate of Oman Television, Moroni, the capital of Comoro.
Still to come in our news bulletin. A fast-moving snowstorm barreled through the northeastern United States, causing the cancellation of some 2,903 flights. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. Yemeni government forces took full control of the historic Red Sea port of Mocha today after weeks of deadly fighting with rebels and their allies. An armed forces spokesman said the rebels had been forced to flee the town. The rebels had put up fierce resistance in the town, and 24 rebels and 8 loyalist troops were killed in fighting. Mocha was once Yemen's main port, serving as the export hub for coffee grown in the highlands, but it was overtaken in the 19th century by Hodeidah further north, which remains in the hands of the rebels, and the southern port of Aden, which is the headquarters of the government. The capital, Sana'a, is held by the rebels. Before a government launched a major offensive on January the 7th, the rebels controlled virtually all of Yemen's 450-kilometer Red Sea coastline. 3 UN agencies today launched an appeal for emergency food aid to conflict-torn Yemen to avoid a humanitarian catastrophe that will hit children the hardest. An assessment by the UN's Agencies for Food and for Children, FAO and UNICEF, and the World Food Programme found unprecedented levels of hunger, with the number of people who could not be sure of having enough to eat up by 3 million in 7 months. A total of 17.1 million people are now struggling to feed themselves, with 7.3 million of those in need of emergency assistance. Yemen has a population of 27.4 million. The joint study was the first of its kind since the conflict dramatically escalated in March 2015. One fallout of the fighting has been a slump in agricultural production across the country, contributing to the soaring malnutrition. The conflict has left more than 7,400 people dead and 40,000 injured, but UN-led peace efforts and 7 ceasefires have all ended in failure. The Turkish military said it hit 11 Daesh group targets and killed 23 militants in the strategic town of Al-Bab in northern Syria as part of its ongoing incursion. Turkish-backed Syrian rebels pursued a major offensive against the Daesh-held Syrian city of Al-Bab, 30 kilometers south of the border with Turkey. The advance risks putting them in direct conflict with Syrian government forces who are closing in on the city from the south. Turkey launched its Euphrates Shield operation in August, backing Syrian rebels with special forces, tanks and aircrafts to sweep the Daesh group from its border area and stop the advance of Kurdish militia. Al-Bab is a major economic hub for the militants and lies on a key crossroads for the region north of Aleppo. A fast-moving snowstorm barreled through the northeastern United States yesterday, stretching from Pennsylvania to Maine and threatening to drop a foot or more of snow on major cities, including New York and Boston. Forecasters warned the storm would bring winds gusting to 80 kilometers per hour and periods of thundersnow, which could drop as much as 4 inches of snow per hour. It was the heaviest snowfall the heavily populated region has seen so far this year. Many schools, including the nation's largest in New York City with more than 1 million students, were closed, as were those in Boston and Philadelphia. Flights were snarled, with more than half of the flights into or out of New York's LaGuardia Airport, Newark International Airport in New Jersey, and Boston Logan International Airport cancelled. Nationwide, some 2,903 flights were cancelled. An outbreak of yellow fever has claimed the lives of more than 600 monkeys and dozens of humans in Brazil's Atlantic rainforest region, threatening the survival of rare South American primates, a zoologist said on Wednesday. The monkeys, mostly brown howlers and masked titis, are falling out of trees and dying on the ground in the forests of Espírito Santo state in Brazil's southeast. Zoologist Sergio Lucena said the number of deaths is increasing every day. The howler's sounds closely resemble grunts or barks. It was the silence that fell on the forest that first alerted farmers that something was amiss, sparking specialists to investigate. The masked titi is considered as vulnerable by the Swiss-based International Union for Conservation of Nature, which has placed it on its red list of threatened species. No evidence has so far surfaced of the affliction feeling woolly spider monkeys, considered one of the world's most endangered by the IUCN. Brazil is suffering the worst yellow fever outbreak in decades that has killed at least 69 humans, nearly all in central state of Minas Gerais, where the problems began. And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear to partly cloudy skies will prevail over the governorate of Musandam, with chances of scattered rainfall. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies. Winds will be southeasterly light to moderate. Seas will be slight, with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. This is the Sultan of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. To enhance cultural and civilizational exchange between the Sultanate and Lithuania, the activities of the Omani Media Days continue in Vilnius. The 4th annual chemistry exhibition seeks to spread the culture of green chemistry in the society. And Yemeni government forces take full control of the Red Sea port of Mocha. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.